Good morning to all of you. In Institute of Economics, today we are going to start OC. Reason is only one topic is left in OC, chapter number 1, a small topic. The last topic was in OC, chapter number 1, that was coordination. And in coordination we have done meaning and characteristics. Meaning and characteristics of coordination we have completed. Now today, importance of coordination. Importance of coordination. Once again, meaning of coordination means whenever two or more persons are working together, whenever two or more individuals are working together with cooperation and mutual understanding for the accomplishment of common objective, that system, that process is called coordination. Now what is the importance? First of all, first point, coordination makes all functions of management effective. All functions of management means planning, organizing, directing, staffing, controlling, because for implementing each and every function, two or more individuals are needed or required. That's why cooperation and mutual understanding is very necessary in order to make all the functions effective and successful. So coordination makes all functions of management effective. Second, due to coordination, all activities can be done in a systematic manner. Now why? First of all, why all activities can be done in a systematic manner? So before coordination, we all know that whole management is divided into three different levels of management: top level, then middle level, and then bottom level. Top level management, middle level management, and bottom level management. And why the whole management, the whole business unit is divided into three different levels? Reason is all work cannot be done, supervised, managed, controlled by a single level of management. It is not possible for owner or board of directors, if it is partnership, if it is sole proprietorship or company. It is not possible for top level management to manage all the activities all alone. That's why they are dividing the whole work into different parts, and each part of work is assigned to different level of management, to different individuals, so that work can be done in a systematic manner. But then also after division, it is not possible that work can be done in a systematic manner. What is necessary? Coordination is necessary. Means if all levels of management will put their joint efforts, will cooperate each other, they will do their work with mutual understanding, then it is possible that all activities which is divided among different level of management can be done in a systematic manner. Then it is possible, and it is possible due to coordination. Third, due to coordination makes accomplishment of objective easy. Means whatever objective is decided by business unit, by business enterprise at the beginning of the year, in order to achieve those objectives, they need to implement all functions of management effectively, and implementation of all functions of management effectively and successfully. For this purpose they need coordination. Means it is necessary that all individuals at different levels of management will put their joint efforts, will cooperate each other, and they will do their work with mutual understanding, without any confusion, without any conflicts. Means if whole work can be done in a systematic manner, then it is possible that accomplishment of objective become easy. Fourth point, duplication of work can be avoided with the help of coordination. Duplication of work means confusion does not arise. Same work will not be repeated by different individuals, because it is very clearly classified. Means top level management assigned, first of all they divide the whole work into smaller parts, and each work is assigned to different levels of management clearly, so they can do their work in a systematic manner without any confusion. It is very necessary that proper coordination must be maintained between or among all levels of management. So if coordination is able to maintain, then it is possible that work will not be repeated again and again. Every individual will perform, every individual will accomplish their own work. Means duplication of work can be avoided. Fifth, due to coordination, resources can be utilized at optimum level. So if all functions of management are implemented effective, if all work can be done in a systematic manner, if duplication of work is avoided, so it is possible that whatever resources business unit have, all the available resources can be utilized at its maximum level, at its optimum level. Means or in other words, or wastage of resources. In other words, we can say same points, wastage of resources can be avoided or reduced to a larger extent. In other words, whatever resources a business enterprise has available, they can utilize all the resources at optimum level. Means wastage of resources can be reduced to a larger extent. Sixth, coordination increases the efficiency level of employees. When all individuals who are working in any business unit, if they are working with cooperation and with mutual understanding, then it motivates those workers to put their 100% efforts, and such motivation increase their efficiency. Means efficiency of performance. And seventh, last one is coordination ultimately coordination increases the productivity and profitability of business enterprise. When all functions of management are implemented effectively and successfully, when all work can be done in a systematic manner, when resources can be utilized at optimum level, when wastage of resources are reduced to a larger extent due to coordination, and when coordination increases the efficiency level of employees, no doubt that productivity means total production and profitability of business enterprise can be increased. These are the importance of coordination. So this is the last topic which we have done. Then one more topic, that is of 1 mark, only 1 mark. So far we have done nature of management, importance of management, management as science, management as an art, management as profession, then different levels of management, functions of different levels of management, then difference between different levels of management, and then we have done coordination. Now last topic, that is 1 mark question. And topic is functional area of management. Functional area of management. Means in business all activities are divided. When we are talking about large size business unit, then it is divided or classified into 4 different categories, and in all these 4 categories, in all these 4 activities, we need to implement functions of management, means planning, staffing, controlling. That's why these activities are called, this classification is called functional area of management. And these are, first one is production management, second one is financial management, third one is human resource management, and fourth one is marketing management. Now this topic may comes for 2 marks or 3 marks also, but production management you have to study in chapter number 10. That's why right now only you have to learn 4 points, functional area of management, for 1 marks. For 2 marks or 3 marks, same topic, production management, you will study in chapter number 10. Chapter number 10, that is marketing. That's why right now you are not required to discuss in detail. Financial management, this is chapter number 8. Name of chapter is same, financial management. So in financial management you will know all about financial management, and very easily you are able to write short notes on financial management. Then human resource management you will study in chapter number I think 4, 5, 6th or 7th. Name of chapter is staffing. In staffing a separate topic is there regarding human resource management. And marketing management, again chapter number 10, that is marketing. That's why right now We are not required to go in detail regarding this topic. So only for 1 mark, right now for 1 mark you have to learn that what are the functional area of management and how many functional area of management. So total there are 4 functional area of management: production management, financial management, human resource management and marketing management. Now in this way this chapter is completed. Now I am going to give you quick revision of this chapter, what we have done in this chapter. The first topic we have done, nature of management. Nature, characteristics, features, all are same. Nature of management. Now first of all, once again, meaning of management. Management is an art of getting things done through others. Management is an art of getting work done through others, and management includes planning, organizing, staffing, directing and controlling. Now what are the nature of management? First one is, it is a universal process. Universal process. Second one is, management is continuous process. Continuous process. Third one is goal oriented activity. Management is a goal oriented activity. Fourth, management is group activity. Group activity. Fifth, management is human process. Human process. Sixth, management is decision process. Seventh, management is science. Management is science, arts or profession. So these are different characteristics of management which we have done in the previous video lectures. Universal process here means management, functions of management. First of all, functions of management are planning, then organizing, after organizing, then staffing, after staffing, directing means issuing instructions, then controlling. Controlling here means, in simple language, try to find out the mistakes or errors done by individuals, employees, and try to rectify those errors, those mistakes. That is called controlling. So planning, organizing, staffing, directing, controlling, these are functions of management. So these functions of management, wherever 2 or more workers are working on those type of field, on those type of areas, management is applicable, whether it is sports, business units, defense, everywhere, education field, everywhere management, functions of management is applicable, then only accomplishment of objective is possible. Continuous process, so far as business is concerned, we all know that business is established for an indefinite period. Indefinite period means unlimited time. So business is, if business is established for unlimited time, it means business requires development, business required progress, and in order to achieve progress, in order to bring development in business unit, in order to bring expansion, it is very necessary that all the functions of management are need to be applied. Like planning must be done, long-term planning, short-term planning. So far business exists, till then we need to apply all the functions of management. That's why all the functions of management are of continuous nature. Goal-oriented activity, again same. Whenever business is established, every business unit wants expansion, development, increase their productivity, increase their profitability, and in order to achieve these objectives, it is very necessary that all the functions are implemented effectively and successfully. Means these are implemented only in order to achieve goal or achieve objective. That's why we can say these functions are implemented for achieving goal, for achieving objective. It means all functions of management are goal oriented activity. Group activity, we all know that any functions of management, any functions of management cannot be performed, cannot be executed by a particular level of management. It needs team efforts, it needs joint efforts. Means with the help of joint efforts, with the help of team efforts, it is possible that all the functions are implemented effectively and successfully. That's why it is called group activity. And last, one more point, human process. We all know that all activities, first of all, planning is performed by or planned by, prepared by experts. They are human being prepared by top level management. Why they are preparing plan? For achieving the objective, for expansion of business. And expansion of business means it is the welfare of the employees also. Whenever business expands, it increases the efficiency, it increases the salary of the employees. Means all functions are implemented by human being, for the human being, for the betterment of human being. That's why all functions of management are called human process. So 5 points are enough. Nature of management. So any out of 7 points, and management is science, arts and profession, we will do later on. These are different nature of management. Then we have done next topic, importance of management. Importance of management. Next topic, second topic. And what are the importance of management? First one is importance of management. It is necessary in all fields. Means same universal process, necessary in all fields. Second, optimum utilization of resources. Third is accomplishment of objective. Fourth is it increases job opportunities. Fifth one is it increases or it helps in simple language, it increases profit. Sixth, social benefit. These are importance of management. Social benefit here means whenever business units are necessary in all fields, we have already done universal process, optimum utilization we have done. If all functions of management are implemented effectively, then it is possible for business unit to utilize all the resources in the best possible manner. And when they are able to utilize all these resources in the best possible manner, then accomplishment of objective become easy. Next, it increases job opportunities. Simple explanation is there. Whenever business units are able to implement all these functions successfully, effectively, then it increases the chances, it increases the opportunities of expansion, of development. And whenever business expands, whenever business develops, it also generates employment opportunities for various individuals. Next, it increases profit. By combining all these points, you can explain it increases profit. As a result, it increases the profit. And social benefit, whenever business units expands and develops, whenever business units are able to utilize all the resources at optimum level, they are able to increase their profit. And whenever they are able to increase their profit, they are able to fulfill their social responsibilities also. Social responsibilities means responsibilities towards society. For example, to provide quality products at reasonable price, to provide products without adopting any unfair trade practices. Means they are not required to adopt illegal activities. They are not required to adopt, or they are not required to exploit consumers. They are not required to adopt any such methods which are against the social responsibility, against moral responsibility. So they are providing quality products at reasonable price, they are able to pay their tax honestly to the government, they are able to pay their outstanding payment or dues towards suppliers. Means in simple language, if they are able to implement all the functions of management effectively and successfully, they are able to provide various types of benefits to society also. That is called social benefit. Third topic we have done, management as a science. Management as a science. And what is science? First of all, what is science? The meaning of science is it is a systematic body of knowledge. We all know in science, physics, chemistry and biology are studied. So what is their concept? That it is a systematized body of knowledge. It is a systematized body of knowledge which is based on certain rules and principles, and such rules and principles are accepted universally. We all know, whether it is gravitational force, Newton's theory, Dalton's theory, whether it is studied in India or any other country, same concepts are studied everywhere, same concepts are taught everywhere, we all know. So science is once again, it is a systematized body of knowledge which is based on certain rules and principles, and such rules and principles are accepted universally. Similarly, nowadays, now we have to discuss about management, how management is a science. Similarly, nowadays management also becomes a systematized body of knowledge. Why? Because nowadays various principles are based on human behavior. After observing human behaviors, how they are performing their work, how business units are able to motivate them, how business units are able to increase their efficiency, how business units are able to increase their profitability and productivity. For this purpose, they have read the behavior of workers, behavior of individuals, what are the methods to boost up the morale of the employees. After reading all these things, after observing all these things, various principles are made, and such principles are nowadays applied in every industrial units, every business units. It means now management also becomes a systematized body of knowledge. It is also based on certain rules and principles, and nowadays such rules and principles are accepted everywhere. Everywhere means whether it is industrial unit, whether it is sports field, whether it is education, whether it is defense, everywhere functions of management is applied effectively and successfully. That's why management is considered as a science. Now next topic, management as an art. Next topic, management as an art. Now first of all, what is art? Implementation of theoretical knowledge. Implementation of theoretical knowledge into practice. One line definition. Implementation of theoretical knowledge into practice is called art. This is one line definition of art. What is an art? Once again, implementation of, then I will explain how management is an art. So implementation of theoretical knowledge is called art. Simple topic is there. Every individual, if you talk about business units, so every managers at different level of management. For example, top level management, board of directors are there, managing directors are there, general managers are there, chief executive officers are there. Then middle level management, different departmental heads are there. For example, purchase manager, sales manager. Then at bottom level management, supervisor is the head of the bottom level management. If these managers, if these head at different level of management has knowledge, no doubt that they have knowledge, they are experts in their particular field, that's why they are appointed. But if they have knowledge but they are not implementing those knowledge in a right direction, then they are not able to, it is not possible to achieve the objective within the specified time period. That's why it is very necessary that whenever or if manager or departmental heads has all knowledge about the business units, about means they are able to implement their expertise knowledge, and if they are implementing those knowledge in the right direction, if they are able to implement all the functions of management in a successful manner, no doubt that accomplishment means objective can be accomplished within the specified time period, without any obstacles, without any delay, then we can say that management is an art. Means when they are able to implement their theoretical knowledge into practice in the right direction, in a proper manner, in a systematic manner, in order to achieve objective, after that we can say that management is an art. So nature of management is completed, importance of management is completed, management as a science is completed, management as an art is completed. Now next topic, management as a profession. Management as a profession. So far as meaning of profession is concerned, we have already done in 11th standard also. Profession, first of all, meaning of profession. Profession is an economic activity. We all know profession is an economic activity where specialized knowledge is needed by an individual, and such knowledge can be used. Such knowledge can be used only after getting training and certificate. We all know, like doctor, lawyers, chartered accountants, they are not implement, they are not execute their knowledge directly. After getting knowledge, they need to obtain certificate or license or degree. Only after obtaining those degrees, means after getting degrees or training, including training also, then they are able to implement, then they are able to execute their professional activities. So this is the meaning of profession. Now, how management, nowadays management become a profession. So if we discuss about the characteristics of profession along with management, then we are able to understand how nowadays management becomes, or management is considered as a profession. So what are the characteristics of profession? First, it requires specialized knowledge. First point. Second point, it increases knowledge and research. Third point, professional association. Fourth point, code of conduct. Fifth point, moral responsibility. These are the characteristics of profession. These are the characteristics of profession. Now, first of all, first point, it requires specialized knowledge. Now every profession, whether it is doctor, lawyer, chartered accountant, they need specialized knowledge in their particular field. Means they need a degree in their particular profession. For example, doctor, in case of doctor, MD, MBBS degree, MS degree are necessary in order to become doctor or in order to execute the profession of doctor. Then LLB degree is necessary in case of lawyer, in the profession of lawyer. In this, similarly, in case of chartered accountancy, they need certificate or degree of ICAI, means Institute of Chartered Accountant of India. Similarly, now this is about professions, other professions. Now how management is a profession? Now nowadays, in order to become manager in any business unit, in order to become manager, general manager, managing director, purchase manager, sales manager, in order to become manager, nowadays individual must have degree of BBA or MBA. BBA means Bachelor of Business Administration, and MBA Master in Business Administration. So these degrees are necessary in order to become manager in any business unit. On this basis, we can say that nowadays management also becomes a profession. Now it increases knowledge and research, means profession increases the knowledge and research. How? Now in every, whether it is medical field, when a professional is repeating his activity continuously, it increases their knowledge. They want to get more and more knowledge in that particular field in order to solve the complications. Similarly, in order to develop these professions, research are continuously conducted. For example, in the field of medical science, in LLB means they are trying to find out different cases, how to solve these cases. They are framing, governments are framing, Supreme Courts are framing different types of laws whenever they are facing any complication. So after research, after making they are researching, they are observing every case, and they are making different types of rules and regulations. It means whenever any individual is involved in any particular profession, it increases their knowledge, and when research are going on continuously, then it develops that profession also. Similarly, in management also, different principles are made. You will study later on in different chapters. Different principles are made in order to accomplish the objective within the specified time period, and in order to boost up the morale of the employees, in order to provide full satisfaction to the employees, in order to reduce labor turnover rate. They are conducting research continuously, they are increasing knowledge. And one more thing here, when managers are implementing their knowledge, executing their knowledge continuously, it increases their efficiency level. That's why we can say that management is considered as a profession. Third one is professional association. Every profession has their own association. Every profession has their own association. Like Indian Medical Association is established for the development of medical field. Similarly, ICAI, Institute of Chartered Accountant of India, is established for the development of chartered accountancy. Similarly, nowadays, now we have to discuss about management as a profession. Similarly, nowadays in India, different institutes are established. Different institutes are established for the development of management. For example, IIM, Indian Institute of Management. These institutes are working at national and international level for the development of management as a profession. So we can say that every management as a profession. Now, code of conduct. Every professional association has their own code of conduct. Now, what is code of conduct? Set of rules and regulation. Set of rules and regulation. Combination of rules and regulation is called code of conduct. So every profession has their own code of conduct, and it is very compulsory for the members to follow this code of conduct. It is compulsory for them to follow code of conduct. For example, doctors are, it is must, it is compulsory, it is mandatory to follow code of conduct which are established, which are framed by IMA, Indian Medical Association. And next, last one is moral response. So in the same way, how management is a profession, on this basis, IIM and other management bodies has also set different code of conducts which is compulsory, which is mandatory for the managers to follow. That's why we can say management also becomes a profession. And last one is moral responsibility. This is the moral responsibility of every professionals like doctors, lawyers, managers to be loyal towards their clients, to be loyal to, for example, so far as management is concerned, it is the responsibility of business unit, it is the responsibility of top level management, it is the responsibility of departmental heads to be loyal towards the employees. They need to implement only those activities, they need to implement policies in such a manner which provides maximum satisfaction to the employees, to the customers, to the government and to the suppliers, means all stakeholders. So these are the characteristics of profession. So almost all important topic I have completed once again. Now any doubt in any topic you can ask.